All right, Thursday night football. We've got the Minnesota Vikings, led by Carson Wentz, who is coming off a rough game against his former team in the Eagles. I know Vikings fans are looking for JJ McCarthy, or at least some of them are looking for JJ McCarthy to at least get some reps here, if nothing else, against the Los Angeles Chargers. So this game's going to be at SoFi Stadium. Looks like there's a potential return of Trey Pipkins, and Joe Alt, which certainly was a major loss for the Chargers when they went down. So yeah, Mike, what are your thoughts on this game? What chances do you give the Vikings? Are you leaning Vikings or Chargers? Um, any thoughts on the total? What's your read on this one, Mike?
My read on this one is I think I'm leaning Chargers just based on kind of just how they're playing on third down. They're hitting 46% on third downs in mediums, and Carson Wentz just got announced as the starter. Aaron Jones should be good to go. I do kind of want to see if they're going to get Trey Pipkins back and Joe Alt back. That's going to make a huge difference. And honestly, maybe this line jumps up to 3.5 or something. Quentin Johnson had a late touchdown. He looked good. But, Carson Wentz looked like he was seeing ghosts against Jalen Carter and the Eagles when they played in that Eagles defensive line. This is still a good football team with a quality offense. When you're talking about the Chargers, I really still think that if Carson Wentz, now being announced the starter, he's still got lingering issues with that non-throwing shoulder. I think this might be, a time where you see the Chargers ramp up some pressure and really try and push that Vikings, offensive line, try and get pressure on what, people probably say is one of the, as a defensive player, one of the people you like to light up the most, in Carson Wentz. I really think it's going to be, if Joe Alt and Trey Pipkins are going to be available, maybe Khalil Mack sees a lot more snaps. I like the Chargers in this one. I like the over in this one. But yes, I lean the Chargers at -3. I do think that line might jump up to four, maybe even 4.5. I like them at 3.
Yeah, I agree. Give me the Chargers in this game. Feels like a get right game for them. Finally, they looked great to start the year, and a big part of that was Justin Herbert having the time in the pocket to maneuver, to do what he has to do, to get the ball to Quentin Johnson on those deep routes, on those late developing, down the field routes. And if there's one thing we saw from the Vikings this past week against the Eagles, it's that they really struggled against those vertical routes. Devontae Smith just had a monster game against them, and Jalen Hurts was able to get his deep ball going, kind of was able to revitalize that Eagles offense that had felt like it had kind of fallen asleep. But expect the same. If they're able to get Alt and Pipkins back, and Justin Herbert has the time in the pocket to attack downfield against the cover zero defenses that are going to leave by Brian Flores, that are going to leave that secondary exposed. Look for a big game from Quentin Johnson, Ladd McConkey, and Justin Herbert to get back on the right track. Yeah, and give me the Chargers. 3.5 is a tough number for sure, but I do have confidence in them. So yeah, give me the Chargers to cover. Whether it's 3 or 3.5, I'll take the Chargers.
And shout out Keenan Allen, 113 yards last week. Looked like Keenan Allen of old, and being able to create separation and make plays with the ball in his hands.
It's good to have him back after Shane Waldron almost killed his love for the game. But Turtle, what are your thoughts on this one? Vikings and Chargers.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time picking this game because if we go off our kind of where we start, right, head coach and quarterback combo versus the opposing head coach and quarterback combo. Not that
Yep.
I don't love Kevin O'Connell, but um, look, Carson Wentz, we know that he's got his limitations and struggles. I wouldn't say that he's really limited physically, but I think between the ears and the stupid things that he does makes him limited. Now, the one thing that concerns me about the Chargers, though, is that they're kind of susceptible to the run. And excuse me, look, Aaron Jones was activated off IR. He's questionable for this game. They might get him back. They obviously have Jordan Mason, who I think is a above average running back slash, I'd say a pretty solid player. So if there is a path for the Vikings to cover this 3.5, I do think it would be through running the football. Not only does that help limit Carson Wentz mistakes, but I do think that can open up some things in the pass game for him. Um, Chargers are all health dependent, man, and I think getting QJ back, and if you get Joe Alton Pipkins back, I think that's huge. Um, I do think that their defense, well, I think they're solid, and I just it's just tough. I could see the game going both ways when it comes to the Vikings being able to run the ball and kind of take possessions out of Herbert's hand. Um, but I'll lean Chargers here just because they're getting healthier. And can you guys remind me of the name of the Chargers DC again? I know he's the Michigan guy.
Minter, Jesse Minter.
Minter, Jesse Minter. I do really like Jesse Minter. Can't believe his name is slipping me. Um, Kind of feel like his name has cooled off for some head coaching jobs. I don't know if you guys have heard that any at all recently, but I feel like he's not as talked about as he was as coming into the year. Um, but I really like Jesse Minter. I think them getting healthy, I lean them -3, but I could see an avenue to where the Vikings have some success as well.
Yeah, I think this is easy Chargers. I think they smash the Vikings. The secondary's pretty bad for Minnesota. And when Justin Herbert has time, I think when he throws the ball a lot, he has a lot of success. Does that help them in the long run? I don't know. But for this Minnesota game, I think if you try and get into a shootout with the Minnesota Vikings, Carson Wentz is going to have at least 1 or 2 turnovers. You should have no problem with this game. I don't think they have any matchup for Ladd McConkey, 0 matchups for Quentin Johnston or Keenan Allen. And then I've really liked how Arande Gatson, the rookie tight end from Syracuse, just came on strong. As of late, he balled out last week against Indianapolis. Expect more of the same. With those 4 receivers, it's going to be really tough for Minnesota. And Minnesota I think the biggest hole on their team is their secondary. So I'm going to I would probably say take the Chargers -5.5. I like that.
So if you've got him at
-5,
5.5, you'll love him
alternate
at
line?
3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Juice,
All right.
juice it, Christian.
Make some money on that.